It's far harder working in the kitchen with a blunt knife than it is with a sharp knife. The secret behind keeping a sharp knife, sharpen it before and every time you use it. First, grip the steel. Feel really comfortable about holding the steel. Imagine you're holding a tennis racket or you're playing squash. You've got to be really comfortable with it. Now, 45 degrees, confident grip with the knife. This is the butt of the steel. Really important you keep your fingers behind there. You never grip a steel with your fingers over that, because the knife comes back in, you've just lost a finger. Always grip behind. Nice long strokes so we get the whole of the blade over the steel. Stroke. And we start from the bottom to the top. So there, across. There, across. Slow strokes over the top of the steel. And then come back underneath. Then back underneath. It is so dangerous working in the kitchen with a blunt knife. You can cause so much damage. Working with a sharp knife is 10 times quicker, more efficient. Now, that's ready to start chopping. To stop your chopping board rocking or slipping, a great tip is to simply wet a kitchen cloth, kitchen paper or tea towel and place it underneath. Now you can chop with confidence. My next top tip is, get the most out of your humble veg peeler. It's brilliant for slicing ultra-thin ribbons of veg, perfect for Asian dishes. Great for making long, delicate parmesan shavings to top soups and salads. It also makes wonderful chocolate curls. Your pepper mill is more versatile than you might think. Tighten the top screw to get finely ground pepper, ideal for soups and sauces. For general seasoning, you want it medium ground, so set the screw in the middle. And loosen it right off for coarse pepper, perfect for steaks and fish. Peeling garlic. For one clove, simply bash it with the back of a knife and the skin comes off easily. For a whole head, crush, separate into a bowl, cover and shake hard for about 10 seconds. Then simply pick out the peeled cloves.
You basically need 3 knives. A heavy-duty chopping knife, followed by a small paring knife, which is brilliant for prepping vegetables, and then this baby here, a serrated edge knife for carving and slicing. Basically, that is it.
Before you buy a knife, hold it in your hand and make sure it feels right for you.
The secret behind a great set of knives is in the handle. If you're comfortable holding the handle, your cutting is going to be so much easier. The firmer the grip, the better the chopping. The heavier the handle, the more control you've got over the blade.
With these 3 knives, you can't go wrong. This is the root. That's absolutely crucial. Leave that on there. If you cut that off, the onion will start to bleed and you'll start crying rapidly. Slice going forward. Let the weight of the knife do the work. 3 fingers, 1 in front, 2 behind. And this part of the knuckle is going to guide the knife. Fingers on top of the onion, point the knife towards the root and try to get as close to the root as possible. Nice, long strokes. And then push the onion back together. Push the knife halfway into the onion. Slightly tilt the knife down. 1 at the top. And then gripping the onion like a tennis ball, holding it together in place. With the weight of the blade to cut through that onion to get to the base of the root. Again, turn it round, up and down motion. And that's what we're left there. No waste, just the root. And look, there, you've got a really nice, finely chopped onion. So much great cooking depends on starting with a high enough heat. If a recipe calls for a hot pan, put it on early so it gets smoking hot. And always remember to preheat your oven at least 20 minutes before cooking. A clean cook is an efficient cook. My tip for a tidy cooking area is to always have a waste bowl next to you. It saves you going back and forth to the bin.
Saucepans. I mean, basically, you don't need a collection of 10. All you need really is 2. A medium-sized one, followed by a large one.
A small pan's great for sauces, heating liquids or rice, whereas your large pan gives you space, perfect for pastas, stews, or when you're cooking in bulk, which keeps costs down. Made from copper to stainless steel. Find what's right for you and always get a lid, which helps heat the pan up as quickly as possible.
And the secret behind a great saucepan is the heavier the bottom, the more heat it will conduct. The thinner the bottom, the more chance you've got actually burning your food.
Buy the best saucepans you can afford. Take good care of them and they'll last you years, saving you money in the long run.
Casserole dish. Absolutely essential when it comes to good home cooking. Why? So versatile. The beauty of this thing is the fact that you can actually use it on the hob or start it on the hob and finish it in the oven. More importantly, cast iron, it conducts the heat, so you can have the gas on absolute minimal or the oven down to its absolute lowest setting and the thing will just cook naturally.
Casserole dishes are surprisingly versatile and a great investment. You only need one, and if you look after it, it'll last you a lifetime.
Brilliant for one-pot wonders. Roasting and baking tray. These things, so versatile, great for baking whole fish on, fantastic for making breads, and so cheap. A classic two-handled roasting tray, brilliant for roasting whole birds, finishing sauces, gravies on top of the stove, over the gas string burner. Again, versatile.
The more solid your trays are, the better. Then they won't buckle and they will last.
Cheap, but seriously essential.
Whole hams are always impressive. To carve one easily, hold the ham by the bone and cut down the meat as close to the bone as possible. You can then lay your cut ham flat on the board, making it nice and easy to slice thinly and evenly. For perfect pork crackling, pour over hot oil before roasting in the oven. It'll come out beautifully crisp and crunchy. And when you need to chill wine fast, simply add a large handful of salt to your ice bucket. The salt reduces the freezing point of the water, which will chill your wine in 6 minutes flat.
Chopping herbs, the secret is to chop them, not bruise them. Now, basil. This is a soft herb, so treat it with some respect. When people go mad chopping herbs, all the goodness comes out on the board. I want the goodness left inside the basil. Place them all inside one another, with the largest leaf at the bottom, and it's almost like rolling a cigar. Large one at the bottom, small ones in the centre, and then look, place them down together, just roll them. Nice and gently, don't bruise them. Step one, rolled, ready to slice. Sharp knife, imperative. Fingers tucked in. The bottom part of your knuckle is the guide between you and the herbs. That there stops you from cutting your finger. Really important to get comfortable with the knife and just practice rolling the knife across the board and relaxing that wrist. It's all in the wrist action. So, herbs up, fingernails tucked underneath, and just up and down, up and down. And there you have our chopped basil that's not bruised and smelling very fragrant. Right, coriander. So you get the bunch of coriander, hold it down, and just lightly shave the leaves off the stalks. Bunch them up together, and then just, again, let the knife do the work. Tuck the fingernails in and just chop once, and once only. Don't hack it, just chop it. You can always identify when you've bruised a herb, when you've removed the herbs off the board, and there's a big green patch. Full of flavour, and none of the goodness is left on the chopping board.
A great tip for using leftover herbs: simply chop finely, mix into butter, roll up in cling film and freeze. Then when you want a herby hit, cut into slices and melt over steaks, chicken or veg. Asparagus is great for a simple supper. To prepare, always remove the lower woody stem by gently bending, and the asparagus will snap at the perfect point. Then boil or steam and serve with a little of my herb butter. When slow roasting meat, line the bottom of the roasting tray with chunky vegetables like onions, fennel and carrots. They act as a trivet to keep the meat from boiling in its own juices. Plus, the veg can be the base for your gravy later on. After slow cooking, baked on residue can be tough to remove, but if you boil water in the pan, it will dissolve and break down. Then simply pour out and wash with soap and water. For perfect boiled potatoes, always start them off in cold water and never boiling water. This way, by the time the centres of the potatoes are cooked, the outside won't be falling apart.
Chicken stock.
the vital ingredient to good cooking. It transforms sauces. It's a fantastic base for soups, and more importantly, it's so easy to do. A little bit of love and care at the beginning, and it cooks itself. Right, step one, chicken carcass into a high-sided pan. An onion, doesn't need to be finely chopped. The vegetables flavour the stock. Onion in. Then from there, cut your leek into nice big solid chunks. Roughly same size as the onion. So all the vegetables cook at the same time. And then our carrot. Celery in, garlic, and then a nice sprig of thyme. That helps to really give depth of flavour to the chicken stock. A couple of bay leaves and some fresh parsley. And then peppercorns. Pan, and just lightly crush them. And a little pinch of salt. And now just cover the vegetables and the carcass with cold water. Just cover the chicken and the vegetables. Bring it up to the boil as quick as you can. Now, as it comes up to the boil, a really nice skim. Take the base of the ladle and swirl that around. That pushes all the grease and the impurities to the side of the pan. Then get your ladle and just tilt it. If you don't skim all that off, the stock becomes very cloudy. People's impression of cooking stock, then it needs to cook for 3-4 hours at a time. This is one chicken carcass. Let that boil away gently for 30 to 40 minutes maximum. Now, we're going to pass it off. Take a sieve, place that over the pan, and then just pour that in. It smells amazing. It's aromatic. The colour is absolutely beautiful. And there you have the most amazing stock